Hey guys, Coach Mel here with some rapid fire questions that are going to be asked by my executive digital media assistant, Josh Mellier. Stay tuned.
Why don't fad diets work?
One thing I tell people on my sales calls, especially people over 40 that are like, they're never going to give up, but they're like, oh my God, I've tried so many things and I've spent so much money, is the long way is actually the short way. If you actually did it the right way and took the long road, which is knowledge, education, hiring a coach, support, and accountability, you would have already been there by now.
What are some common misconceptions about nutrition that people should be aware of?
So I think that learning the lingo and not using the word diet is super important. If you say diet, if everybody in your life, how's the diet going? Oh, you can't eat that you're on a diet. You're going to feel like you're on a diet. So start talking about what you're doing with your nutrition and your whole foods plan, and start to use those words and not the D word. And I think that saying diet, people instantly think that you're going to be deprived and you're going to be starving. And on MELFIT, 99.9% of the women and men I work with aren't eating enough. Therefore, they can't figure out why they're not losing weight, because they're literally eating under 1,000 calories a day and they're not dropping any weight. And the reason is because your body's job is to keep you alive. So when you don't feed it, it's like a bear. It just stores body fat, stores body fat, stores body fat. So I think that another common misconception about nutrition is that in order to lose weight, that we have to be eating food that mimics a bodybuilder's diet, which would be like super plain, sweet potatoes, asparagus, white rice, chicken, and that type of thing. So nutrition can mean so many different things. And as a personal trainer, nutritionist, and chef, I pride myself in teaching people how to prepare whole foods in 25 minutes with a ton of flavor, cutting the fat by using all natural seasonings, spices, herbs, and citrus. And lastly, I think that the misconception about nutrition that's super huge and is just like always the topic of convo is that it costs a lot of money to eat healthy. And it really doesn't, because the path is in the math. When I have sales calls with people, I ask them, how much are you currently spending on your food? And most people are eating out, getting Uber Eats, and eating processed foods. And from the research that I've collected, the data that I've collected from actual clients, which has been thousands of people that I've worked with on my nutrition plans, they're paying double, if not triple. And one thing that most people say is, before I started on MELFIT, I would go to the store and I would just put a bunch of healthy food in my cart with the intention of cooking it. I'd maybe make half of it would go in the trash, and then on top of that, I would eat out. So the one thing that my MELFIT Army will tell you guys is we have literally zero waste. I use my own food prepping service, MELFIT VIP food prepping service. Thank you, Gene Seagraves. So I know exactly what my food budget is for 6 days of the week, times 4. The path is in the math. That's easy to figure out. The other day of the week will be my free day, and I have a really killer green smoothie bar set up here, or I'll do an avocado toast. For lunch, I usually always have apples and some nuts and things to snack on, nitrate-free turkey, protein options. And then we'll usually eat out for dinner, and maybe I'll throw together some kind of a salad with jasmine rice or a complex carbohydrate. So it's really easy to figure out exactly how much it's going to cost you to eat healthy. And where my Melfit Army also saves is the gym membership. COVID really taught us that we can work out at home. We don't have to get up, put our makeup on, drive our car, put miles on our car, spend money on gas. For me, being interrupted at the gym was a really big deal. I would try to get out of my business just to disconnect, and I would get caught in the hallway going into my class. I'd get caught in the hallway leaving my class. So therefore, my hour and 15 minutes that I was going to be away from my business turned into like 2 hours or more. So I found it more of a challenge as a business owner and entrepreneur to go to the gym and actually get in, get out, and get a good workout in, because there was too much socializing, which that's not personally what I was going there for. So a lot of people that switched over to Melfit during COVID, a lot of them, that was their non-negotiable. Oh, that's my church. I'll never give up going to the gym. And now they're finding like, wow, I'm paying $29.99 a month for your app, and having these workouts included, it's saving me $50 some a month of going to the gym. And also, if you have kids, that's a lot. You got to get everybody ready, make sure everybody's clean, wipe snotty noses, get everybody fed, pack everybody in the car, pack snacks, check into daycare, it is a big deal, where most parents don't even like going to other people's houses because they like to keep their kids in an environment that's childproof. So if they can get it set up to where, maybe the kids are in a little play area right by where they're working out, and hopefully they can get it in. 9 times out of 10, it's a win-win for everyone to just get their workout done at home. A lot of times in the evening, my husband will tell me, if we didn't have our gym set up downstairs, he would not have been motivated to get home from work, take off his dirty clothes, put on his gym clothes, drive to the gym, work out, come home. For him, it's so nice because he can just throw on shorts. He doesn't even need a shirt, and he can come down to the basement and work out.
Does alcohol affect weight loss?
So alcohol is such a hot topic right now, and the answer is absolutely yes. For me personally, I have tried to stick to about 2 drinks a week for over 20 years, which is the amount of time that I've maintained my weight. And for me, I could go into a social situation with 100% good intentions of, I brought this side dish, it's a high protein salad with some carbs in it, I'll have my food I can share with other people. I personally am going to drink 2 seltzers, but then I would find myself, if I drank more than that, then I started to get the drunk munchies, and I started getting into things that I would normally not get into. So I think that alcohol lowers your inhibitions, and it lowers your willpower and your assertiveness to stay on your plan. If a client comes into Melfit and weight loss is their goal, they need to have a large enough deficit from what they're burning and what they're eating, and it's really hard to factor alcohol into that budget because alcohol is essentially empty calories. So the food that we give you, we create the menus with the appropriate amount of fat, carbs, and protein for satiety, which means to keep you full. If you remove 600 calories of actual whole foods and you replace it with 600 calories of alcohol, you are going to be hungry, and that is where the drunk munchies come in. I can always tell by looking at people, especially women that drink wine, they tend to get a wine belly, and men that drink beer tend to get a beer belly. Wine, although they say that, the residual sugar has been fermented off, wine is made out of grapes. So I do feel like there is enough sugar, residual sugar left to make a difference. Also, I think where America and society has really gotten the alcohol wrong is they're underestimating their portion. When I used to have my brick and mortar, I used to give people these little glasses that I used to get from ArborCrest, and I would tell them, right above the line is actually 4 ounces. I think it's, 4 ounces of red wine or 6 ounces of white wine or whatever, but you can people have these huge wine glasses, and that's where they're really underestimating the calories. So I educate people to, if you're going to drink alcohol, we have 1 free day a week, and decide on that day. My recommendation is no more than 2 drinks. Also, if you're doing gluten-free, dairy-free, no processed sugar, no corn, no wheat, which is gluten, then when you pick your alcohol, try to pick alcohol that coincides with that. If you're drinking vodka, most vodkas are made from corn or wheat. I would recommend Ciroc vodka. It's made from distilled grapes, or grapes and distilled water. So that's more of a natural source. There is a few other vodkas. There's one, I can't think of the name of it, but it looks like a skull head. But if you Google most of your common vodkas, Belvedere and Tito's, they're actually made from wheat or corn. The best alcohol that you can drink is tequila because it's made from an agave plant and it's plant-based. So your body metabolizes it better because it recognizes what it is. So it's really easy to do a tequila, lime, and soda, vodka, lime, and soda. I actually am a huge fan of ordering like a Prosecco split in a restaurant because you know exactly that that bottle of champagne that you're getting is 100 calories. And I'm a big fan of these vodka sodas and these seltzers that are popping up everywhere because it's so easy to go, okay, I'm going to have 2 seltzers. That means I'm going to have 200 calories worth of alcohol. If you are not mindful of your alcohol calories while you're losing weight and while you're in maintenance, you will go backwards. And I think for me, what's really made me rein it in, and sometimes I don't drink at all during the week. Sometimes I'll go several weeks without drinking. But I know that it's hard enough to lose weight. It's even harder to maintain it. And I think for me, I just got tired of, I'm at my goal weight and 2 weekends of drinking, I'm up 5 or 6 pounds, which is a lot on somebody that's 5'1".
What advice do you have for someone to stay motivated?
So I feel like the word motivated is thrown around a lot. I get this question a lot, and to be honest, in order to stay motivated, you actually have to start. And I think what keeps people motivated is getting results. Let's just face it, we all want results. In order to be motivated, you have to start. In order to stay motivated, you have to get results. And in order to get results, you have to be consistent. If you aren't consistent, you'll gain the weight back and you'll want to quit. And I think that's why so many people, especially my customer avatar, which is over 40, I feel like that's why they go backwards. So if you haven't listened to our podcast, I think it's episode number 40, Everything We Should Know We Learned in the Third Grade. It really talks about our habits and rituals. Why did we as a child lay out our clothes, including our shoes? I mean, if anything, I feel like we were probably more concerned about our appearance when we were kids and we were going to school. And then, of course, we got our homework done. And then our moms made sure that we got our lunch. And if it was PE that day, we got our shoes. If there was an after-school practice, we made sure to pack our cleats for soccer. So I think that's where adults really need to get back into being adults and practicing what we're teaching our children. Why can't we have a basket at the end of our bed with our workout clothes? Why can't we lay out our workout clothes? Why can't we schedule our workouts? And I think that's where we're really going wrong. And I tell people a lot, show me your schedule and I'll show you your life. If somebody complains to me, I don't have time to work out, and they show me their schedule or they show me their phone, more than likely together without judgment, we can figure out where this person is actually wasting time. And I think that what will really help a lot of people is, I feel like the morning time, especially if you have children, it's the best time to be distracted. So if you find that it's taking you like 3 hours to even get going and get the workout done, maybe you're drinking coffee and you're scrolling on your phone for an hour. I would use the Alex Hormozi method, which is just go right to work, which means just go right to your workout. If you got up at 5:30 and put your clothes on and went and did your workout, you would be done well before, if it was a half an hour, before right at 6. If it was an hour, you'd be done at 6:30, where left to our own accountability, you could sit there and have coffee for an hour or a half an hour, and then you could, so there's so many rabbit holes you can go down. So I would have to say, in order to stay motivated, you really just need to be consistent. And if you're being consistent, the results will come. Most people don't give themselves a long enough time period to kind of start to, I don't know. It's not like you can buy motivation, but to almost possess a motivated mindset would be a little bit more accurate to say that we can, manifest and we can kind of get in our own heads. And most importantly, identify our shortcomings and be willing to admit, what are you doing that is keeping you from working out, which is keeping you from getting results, which is really wreaking havoc on your daily motivation.
What are some non-scale victories you hear from clients?
At Melfit, we not only do pictures and measurements every 4 weeks, we do check in on everybody once a week. And what we're really looking for, besides you lost 2 pounds or you lost 3 inches, we're really looking for weekly wins. So it's not hard when you go from unmotivated, unhealthy, and sedentary to Melfit, to realize that you're having a lot of non-scale victories. So the number one non-scale victory in the first 2 weeks is definitely going to be inflammation. If you've been following us on social media, if people are dropping 15 pounds in a couple of weeks, it's definitely because they are losing inflammation. They switch from a processed foods plan to a whole foods inflammatory plan. Number two, I would have to say it's people's energy. They notice right away that they have more energy. Before, they couldn't wrap their mind around, how can I muster up a 25-minute workout? I have no energy. So that's one thing that I hear all the time. Non-scale victory could be losing inches and the way that your clothes fit. We're creatures of habit. Most people wear the same 6 things over and over. So if you have a pair of jeans and you're 2 weeks into Melfit, you're going to definitely notice that those jeans are fitting you better. I think that it's really important to acknowledge that a non-scale victory can be self-confidence. And I encourage people to have self-confidence, at any stage of their journey. And how you can be self-confident when you're just starting is believing that you can achieve this, believing that you deserve this, believing you can have this, and also believing in our plan. And then it's really easy to have non-scale victories through manifestation. If you manifest how you're going to look, how you're going to feel, how you're going to speak, how you're going to act, you can actually get there. But if you have limiting beliefs on, in all of these areas, it's a huge roadblock. Definitely with confidence brings an increase in your sex drive. Your skin will look better if you're eating. I can always tell people that eat crappy, drink a lot of alcohol, and smoke cigarettes. Alcohol, they've got the rosacea and broken blood vessels. Their face just looks really swollen. Processed foods, they break out. I never have blemishes on my face because I don't hardly ever eat anything that's not Melfit. If you're used to not having sugar and the only form of sugar that you're eating is coming from fruit or maybe a tiny bit of honey or coconut sugar in a recipe, when you put processed sugar in your body's job is to get rid of it, and how it excretes it is it excretes it through your skin. So if you see somebody with a clear complexion, most likely they are eating very, very clean. One thing that's super fun to hear from clients is the strength in their workouts. I mean, they'll go from not even being able to add any resistance or weights to increasing their weights by 5 pounds over the 3-month period if they do my 12-week boot camp. So it's really, really fun to remember, oh my gosh, I couldn't even do a sit-up. I couldn't even do a push-up. And little by little, you're just going to get stronger and stronger.
Are rest days important?
Personally, I don't take rest days, but I also don't lift 5 days a week either. So my answer to that would be, first of all, most people aren't working out hard enough to get super sore. And even if you are working out hard enough to get super sore, a rest day isn't always the answer. Sometimes, just maybe switching it up and taking a yoga day is going to help, or do some stretching. But not working out at all because you're sore is a bad idea. It's the movement that's going to help loosen up your muscles. And personally, I don't think it teaches people self-discipline when you get one little bit of discomfort and you think, oh, I'm sore, I need to take the day off. So for me, what it looks like is 5 1-hour strength training workouts, my Melfit 6-week shred workouts, with weights as heavy as I can handle without injuring myself. And on the other 2 days off, which would be on the weekend, I would hike, bike, or rollerblade. So I think that most people, the weekend is people's weekend. And if you get into this habit of taking rest days, you're probably not going to lose weight, and you're probably going to have a hard time maintaining, because a lot of people underestimate their calories on the weekend. So I recommend staying pretty consistent. If you're doing 25 minutes of strength training 5 days a week, I think on the weekend you should be doing 25 minutes of something, whether it be a hike or a walk or some yoga. I don't think it's a great idea to just stand still. In order to lose weight and lose weight for sure, you need to have a deficit from what you're burning and what you're eating. And when you take total days off, your average daily burn goes down, and therefore you're not creating a deficit. So some people listening to this may disagree with me, but I think that it's easier to move more than eat less. And that's what we teach in Melfit. We don't take food away from people. If anybody is stalling out, we're going to look at how many steps they're getting a day, what their average daily burn is, and that's where we're going to say, increase your activity levels. We're never going to say, decrease your food.
What is the best time of day to work out?
The best time of day to work out is when you have the time, or more importantly, when you can schedule the time. So if your weeks look the same, it's easy to consistently look at your schedule and see where you can fit this in. If your weeks change, then on Sunday you need to look at your week and see, where can I fit this in? Also, you need to consider distractions. If you feel like the evening you have more distractions because you've got spouse and you've got kids, and maybe in the morning your spouse goes off to work and your kids go off to school, and even if you work, maybe you have a little bit of time before work. So that's when it would be the best time. It's going to be different for everyone. I go back to the Alex Hormozi example. If you're getting distracted, then you need to get up first thing in the morning and go right. He goes right to work. But for you, literally lay your clothes out, put them on. And the great thing about working out at your own house is, God, you don't even have to brush your teeth if you're not around anybody yet, and just do it. I feel like you can be so easily distracted by making your bed or doing a load of laundry. I think that if you can prioritize getting that workout done, and for me, I like to do it first thing in the morning. I have more energy from 5:30 in the morning till about 1:30. That's been my work schedule for the last 30 years, so that's what I'm used to. I'd have to dig pretty deep to work out at 5:30 at night, just because I'm an early riser. But most importantly, find a time that you can get it done with no distractions from your phone, your kids or other people. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb and get to it.
What weight should I start with if I'm just starting out?
So I think that this differs for a lot of people. If you've never worked out with weights, if you're fairly overweight, I tell my clients to start with body weight only exercise. As painful as this is to hear, your body weight is a weight. So for instance, when I used to have my brick and mortar, I would teach my trainers, your client is 50 pounds overweight. You don't need to hand them two 20-pound dumbbells. Your client is 50 pounds overweight. You don't need to have them put on a 40-pound weighted vest to step up on the box. All that's doing is putting added pressure on these people's knees and joints, which they already have because they're overweight. I'm not saying that overweight people shouldn't pick up weights, but I think at first, in order to get your body used to moving your weight around with exercise, that's what I would start with. And then if you're ready to start implementing weight, our best-selling program is 3 months, and I don't want to put a lot of financial burden on people, so I always recommend plan on buying a set of weights every 3 months and plan on increasing your weights 3 to 5 pounds every 3 months. So let's say, for instance, you started with 5 pounds the first month and then 10 and then 15. If you've already been working out and you're strong, of course you can start out different, but that would be my best advice. But in order to build muscle, you have to have progressive overload, which means you have to lift increasingly heavier over time. If you always only stayed with the 5-pound weights, you're only going to gain so much muscle, and you're going to be more in a toning situation.
Right. I have 2 bonus questions.
Bonus questions, yay!
Who's your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration, gosh. Honestly, I'd have to say myself. And I always tell people there's a difference between cocky and confidence. And the reason that I'm my biggest inspiration is because I never give up. And I've coached so many people. And to this day, I'm on sales calls. And there's still so many people in the world that haven't figured out how to lose weight and maintain it. I've figured it out for myself. I've maintained for over 20 years, and I've taken others with me. So until I die, I'm going to teach people that the only way to achieve your goals is health and fitness. Health and fitness is the gateway drug. If you continue to chase shiny objects and go down these rabbit holes of shortcuts, you're always going to find yourself back in the same spot. So I do think that, what was the question, Josh, again?
Who's your biggest inspiration?
Biggest inspiration. So yeah, I would have to say that I don't know if people will think this is a weird answer or not, but I do inspire myself because not only have I been consistent, I know that I've inspired others. And it's taken me a long time to get to the point to be able to say that. But yeah.
What's your favorite MELFit recipe?
My favorite MELFit recipe is hands down the MELFit Buddha Bowl. If you haven't tried it, it is so good. It's got sweet potatoes, jasmine rice, whatever protein source you want, but I think we have chicken. It's got this lovely tahini sauce and, of course, lots of avocado and crunchy vegetables. And I love it because every person I've made it for that's come over to my house really, really likes it. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed our rapid fire questions. And if you don't know where to find us, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we have our own podcast. Just type in Melfit. We have our own YouTube, and if you want to check out our website, it's melfitcoaching.com. I hope that we meet someday. I hope that something that I say to you along the way inspires you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye-bye.